Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of the Third Man Expert Corner, where we bring some prominent names on our show who are contributing immensely to the game that we all love so much. Today, we have with us Mr. Vishal Yadav, sir, the founder of Female Cricket, a platform solely based to empower women's cricket and ensure it keeps on growing by celebrating the journey of our female cricketers. Welcome, sir. We are delighted to have you. How are you?
Thank you, Kaustubh. You can call me Vishal. Sir is not required.
So, to start off, I would like to ask you, tell us little bit about yourself and the female cricket, the journey that you're having.
Okay, about me, I'm a huge cricket fan, just like you guys. I always wanted to be a cricketer, just like every second, third boy growing up in India. And luckily, this 2011 World Cup, the Men's World Cup, it changed a lot of things for me. Because it was in the subcontinent, so the excitement level was always high. The finals happened in India. The finals were in Mumbai. That's where I'm from, and this particular tournament changed a lot of things for me in a sense that I started looking at cricket in a different tangent. Before that, it was just an entertainment purpose. I used to watch it in my free time, but this particular tournament uh, showed me how how this sport can bring an entire community together, how this one sport can bring everyone, the entire country of 1.3 billion people together. They are sharing the same emotions. They are crying together. They are laughing together. They are celebrating together. So there's so much that the sport has to offer, and which I got to know after this tournament happened, and India lifted the trophy after 28 long years. Uh, it changed a lot of things for me.
Surely, sir.
Uh,
Yeah, sir. This is Sanchit Desai here, and first of all, I'm really excited to have you on the show, sir, because I've read so much about you and your venture and your journey after being the founder of the female cricket. So I would just like to ask you one question. We all have that one ultimate motivation behind starting anything, be it a small scale thing or even a large scale thing. So I would just like to ask you, what was your ultimate motivation before you look to start the venture that you are currently done, that is the female cricket?
So, like I said, growing up, I always wanted to be associated with cricket. One, that always wanted to be a cricketer. Unfortunately, that did not happen because I was good with studies. So my parents pushed me to finish my education first, and then I realized that the time is gone. Now I cannot go back in my childhood days and start cricket from scratch, because you know how professional cricket is and how competitive it is. You have to start it as early as possible. So when I reached, in the college years, it was the time that I realized that now the playing years are gone for me. But I had to do something around this particular the sport, so as to be connected and so as to enjoy and keep myself entertained. And I was reading and researching a lot about cricket back then, like you guys are doing. Talking to a lot of people who have started their cricketing journeys, or people who are making an impact. And I happened to interview and interact with a lot of these cricketers. And they were not in, again, they were Indians, they were either Asians, but not playing cricket in India. They were playing cricket outside India. So someone was, playing cricket in Germany, someone in Brazil, in Argentina, and that sort of fascinated me a lot, because we always, grew up watching and listening to the stories of these 10 top test playing nations. But we never actually got to know how cricket is sustained or survived in a country like Germany, which is a football freak country. So these small things fascinated me a lot, and it was that time I realized that women's cricket is a segment which is again very popular, and but again not given enough coverage, not even in the print media, not even at the local level. And that sort of led to this idea that let me do something about it. One is that I always wanted to be in the sport. Second, when I realized that this particular gap exists, there is an opportunity, and I can do something around it. I thought, why not do it? And that sort of became a motivation. And the day I started working on female cricket on this project, the motivation has always gone up, because every day there has always been new challenges, new opportunities that we come across, and that sort of has kept the spark alive, and it has always kept me and the entire team today motivated.
So, sir, ju- just out of curiosity, how exactly the journey began? Because I think female cricket is a academy in Shivaji Park. It has a YouTube channel. You produce your own podcast and videocast. There is an Instagram channel, and you do have your own website where there is exclusive content that you yourself produce in house. So, what
Right.
exactly began the very first time, and how it all panned out later on?
Right. So it all started with a website and a couple of social media handles. Uh, Again, I did my bachelor's in IT, so I knew how to design websites. I knew how to work around with social media handles. So I thought, why not start with what I know, rather than going around and seeking some extra knowledge. I thought, whatever my current knowledge is, let me first utilize that and see whatever can I do. So I started. I built this website. I started writing articles. Started interviewing a lot of these cricketers, and all the content that we used to do on the website, the same was shared across social media handles. So we started with Instagram. We started with Facebook page. In Twitter and YouTube came later in our journey, but these two social media handles and the website, that is how we all began. After that, today when you see, we are again present on major social media handles. We were also on TikTok. No more on TikTok now. But YouTube content is growing. We want to do a lot on YouTube content. Probably I'll discuss with you guys and take some tips from you, since you are already doing it on YouTube. We did a couple of shows on YouTube. There was one which we released last year called The Pioneers, where we talked specifically about the former cricketers. We also did a show called Cricket with Queens. There are some 10 episodes which are already there on our YouTube channel, where we interviewed and interacted with a lot of these young cricketers, and the challenges that they faced, the stories that they have, and which in turn I'm sure that it has inspired and encouraged a lot of these young cricketers, young female cricketers, to come out and take up cricket as a profession. So yeah, to answer your question, Kaustubh, website and two social media handles, and after that we then pivoted into, like I said, Twitter and YouTube as well.
That's fascinating to hear, sir.
So, sir, while forming the questionnaire, we just gone through a LinkedIn profile, and where we saw that there was a time that you were working for Amazon as also managing female cricket simultaneously. So, what was the moment when you thought that you should finally focus on female cricket and just move away from Amazon?
Okay, so Omkar, right? Omkar, you have done your
Yes.
research quite well. Yeah, I was with Amazon, and well, prior to Amazon, I started working in a digital media company. That's where I interacted. Again, the things that I learned there was how to deal with customers, how to engage in a team, how to work in a team. Post that, I took 2 months break to prepare for my MBA, and also landed up a job in Amazon. So I quit my idea of pursuing MBA, and then started working at Amazon. Worked there for 2.5 years, and this was in 2017 when I joined Amazon. But female cricket was started in 2016, and all this while I was always working parallel and managing this project. So I remember there used to be times when the usual working hours, like they say in IT field, is starts with 10, it ends by 7 or 8 in the evening. I used to be back by 10 or 11 sometimes in the night, and still have that same energy and same enthusiasm to work on female cricket. So I used to sit around 12 in the night and work till 2 in the morning, uh, writing articles, preparing content, preparing social media posts, creatives that you call it today. So I would do all of this in the 2 hours, and then go back to that same old routine. I did this for around 3 years, and in 2019 is when I took that plunge. I decided that I should now, this particular female cricket, this project now demands full time, and I should be giving it the time that it deserves. And also the matches were regular. There was a lot happening in women's cricket back in 2019. This is pre-pandemic. I'm talking about. So matches were quite regular. The international fixtures were announced. So that was the idea. I took the plunge, quit all my corporate commitments, came full time on female cricket, and that's how it has been so far.
So, as you previously mentioned in one of your answers, that you tried to reach out to female cricketers on social media. So, how was that experience? Like, how much helpful the social media was? Because obviously, the contact numbers are not there to be discovered, but social media is always there. So, how much of a journey or how much find it was to get in touch with the players?
So, two things. One is that social media has played a huge role in our journey so far, and I'm sure that it will continue to play a huge role. Two reasons. One is that it is one of the best platforms to create an awareness today, to create a buzz. And secondly, we know that our target audience, which is the female cricketers, the young cricketers, the aspiring cricketers, are on these social media platforms. So, and I'm sure that we all are living in a digital age today. With pandemic, with COVID, everything has transformed into digital space, and going forward, this is going to grow further. So we would continue to leverage on social media. How has it helped is, like I said, when we started in 2016, we were the first platform, and we were the only platform giving exclusive coverage to women's cricket. We used to interview and interact with these cricketers, and like I said, prior to starting female cricket, I had a bit of connection, I had a bit of network with these cricketers. And when I started female cricket officially, I then contacted them saying that, this is the platform that I've built, and I want to interview you. One or two interviews, it did take me a lot of time to sort of chase the cricketers and to finalize this particular interviews. But once that happened, I used them as a testimonial, so as to talk to more cricketers, and more people got to know that this is a platform that promotes exclusively to women cricketers, and they have been very kind. I don't think anybody has sort of rejected and said no to us. They knew our intentions were clear. They knew that we wanted to give them exclusive coverage. So they have always been very supportive, not just the Indian cricketers, but in fact cricketers abroad as well. Cricketers from Ireland, from Scotland. There was just one email which we had to write, and they were ready to accept it, and they agreed for the interviews. So
That's very kind of them.
Yeah, so sir, this is my question to you. As you have interacted with not just the Indian female cricketers, but also cricketers from across the globe. So, my question would be, after interacting with them and having a discussion with them, what are the various challenges that these players have to go through? And do you find common in almost every part of the country? Because we know that there are more challenges than opportunities in women's cricket right now, especially in Indian cricket. So, did you find any common challenges that the players have to go through in almost every country?
see, the challenges are manifold, and it depends from geography to geography. It depends from again, it comes in various shapes and sizes. Uh, the challenges that the Indian cricketers had to face was something else. The challenges with South African or Australian cricketers had to face was very different. So I would not be able to give you a classification as such, but I can tell you that when it comes to Indian cricket, the challenges were that I'm talking about 90s and 2000s. The challenge was that the matches were not televised, so people would not know that so and so match is happening. And if you don't know that something is happening and it is not televised, more and more girls would not take up. The only girls who would come to watch and who would come to play is either one of your relatives or one of your friend's daughter, who is again being pushed to go out and watch the match. So that was one challenge. The other challenge being the traditional mindset. We all know that is something which still exists in the society. The parents, they do not readily support, and they do not readily push their daughters to go and take up sport, for obvious reasons, that it does not guarantee you any financial stability. It does not guarantee you that you would play for state team or national team. So again, there are a lot of challenges, and if I had to put them out in a bucket, these two are the major ones when it comes to the Indian country. One is the traditional mindset of the people, and second, the matches were not being televised. Apart from that, at a player level, there were the matches. Like I said, the matches were not being televised. There was not enough pay given to these players. There was no fixed salary as such. There was no contract system back in 90s and 2000s. Now, luckily, we do have that in place. The players, I remember I was talking to Mithali ma'am, Julian Goswami ma'am, and they told me that they would travel unreserved in trains, and they would be given just one lobby, and all the 10, 11, 15 players would be keeping their stuff there and also accommodating themselves in that just one particular lobby. Now players, they do get their individual rooms and individual hotel facilities. The accommodation is much better. They do get to fly from one place to another. Back then it was always train journeys, and it would take them 2 to 3 days in some cases. For a person who stays in south and who wants to travel to north for a match, it would take them 48 hours. So a lot of these challenges, and these girls have gone through it. Despite these challenges, they still stuck there, they still stood there, and they continued the game for the passion of it, for the love of it.
Sir, I actually have one follow-up question to what you have just answered. You have said that
Yeah.
the Indian parents' mindset is that there is no scope in females cricket right now, but we have seen the game of cricket in women's terms growing in countries like Australia, for that matter. So, what would be your suggestion to the upcoming generation of let's say our generation who will be going to become parents in the future? So, what would be your advice be to them for ensuring that their future children to get into the field of women's cricket? So, what would be your general advice to these parents?
General advice would be to put your daughter in any sport, not just in cricket, because sport in general teaches you a lot of things. It teaches you it basically teaches you how to behave in a sport, how to perform in a team environment. It makes you fit, it makes you agile, it increases your stamina. A lot of those factors that comes into place. It makes you healthy. Again, there are a lot of advantages of playing a sport, but in general terms, it makes you responsible. It teaches you how to accept a win. It teaches you how to accept when you lose a particular situation. So in general, my advice to you guys, to any new parent out there, would be to put your daughters, put your sons in any sport possible. And if he or she enjoys cricket, then so be it. Let them enjoy cricket. Put them in a proper cricketing setup. It could be a club, could be an academy, and see how they prosper, see how they grow from there. Don't expect much. Again, it goes without saying that there are lakhs and lakhs of cricketers that we see, but only 11 makes it to the national side, and another 11 plays for the domestic, for the state side. Not everyone gets to the elite level, but sports in general teaches you a lot of life lessons. So for that reason, put your daughters, put your sons in any sport of your choice.
Okay, so as you talked about running female cricket and the interaction with all the female cricketers around the world, especially Indians. So how do you see the women's domestic circuit and the men's domestic circuit? Like, what are the differences you have noticed?
Uh, Differences in a sense that if you talk about the games differ a lot. The men's game, the women's game, again, it is something that should not be compared, because the men's play around the year. They have got ample of matches, both at the international and both at the domestic level. So their game has evolved a lot. They have been playing IPL since 13 years now. So they are far, far, far ahead compared to the women's cricket. So it would not be wise to compare their games as such. But at the domestic level, uh, and when it comes to women's cricket, we do not have multi-day matches at the moment. We do not have multi-day formats. In the men's game, you do play Ranji, you do have a couple of multi-day, 2-day, 3-day tournaments. But in women's game, we don't have that. And now I'm sure that you must have read that Indian team is going to play 2 test matches in next 2 months.
Yes.
One is against England, and the other one is going to be against Australia in September. So it would be a huge challenge because the girls have never played, or in the last 2 to 3 years they have not played that format, not played a 2 day or a 3 day match, and now they'll be put in that environment where they have to survive 90 overs a day, and then uh, it is very task taking. So how would the girls cope up is going to be a huge challenge. Good that we have women's test matches coming in. Good that BCCI is looking at reviving the test matches. But a lot of these questions also pop up now. That will the girls survive 4 day test match? How will they perform? And will it not lead to injuries? So a lot of these questions have now popped up. But I hope I answered your question, Omkar. That
Yes, sir.
In the women's setup also we would like to have those 2 day 3 day matches, because eventually this will prepare the girls to play a lot of test matches and eventually more cricket going forward, just like the men's have.
Interestingly, as you have said that there have not been, they have not been given much of a match practice, like 2 day or 3 day. And even before the interview started, we were also discussing the same thing. I think Mithilesh was the one to point out that if they don't perform at a level that we are expecting them to, or if they lose the women's cricket team Indian, then we will say ki, yeah, this is the reason why we are not putting effort into it. And then the reasons on our side will be we are not giving them enough match time. So it's just it's a never ending circle. Like,
It's a never ending cycle, like you rightly said. And again, we should not be judging the Indian side basis on these two matches. We as a fans, I'm sure we understand that the girls would be playing after 6-7 years. The last time they played a test match was back in 2014 against South
2014.
Africa. So again, it would not be wise and it would be stupid to judge their performances based on these two matches. Let them just go out there. Let them just play, adapt to the situation, and hopefully, throw a better performance against England and going forward against Australia as well.
do you think that BCCI is doing enough to promote women's cricket? Because if BCCI decides, they can really promote women's cricket, in my personal opinion, a lot more, because they are not given much of a TV time. And very frankly, when we are all celebrating the historic win of Australia in 2020 over Australia, my bad, women's cricketers were denied to tour the cricket Australia, because the board denied, saying that we can't arrange the facilities that are needed. But they were already facilitating men's team, and it was really disappointing to hear the reason from their side. So is BCCI really doing enough?
Well, there's a lot of debate happening already on Twitter regarding this particular topic. If you ask my personal opinion, it would be that there's always a scope of improvement and there's so much that can be done. Again, I would not deny that they are not doing enough. They are trying their level best. And as we can see, they have scheduled this particular tournament. There's test happening. The BCCI has also promised that India would also be playing against Sri Lanka and West Indies this year. In fact, when would that happen is a question, because the schedules are not out yet. But we have already seen that we are playing against England, and then going forward we are playing against Australia. So to answer your question, yes, BCCI is doing enough. Given the fact that we all are in a pandemic situation, so a lot of logistical challenges also pops up. Having said that, apart from these two series, we do have upcoming. We do have West Indies and we do have Sri Lanka sorted, at least for this year. So I hope that answers your question, Kaustav.
Yeah, but sir, isn't it strange that the world's richest cricket board has not even held one women's IPL, like a proper full-fledged with 8 teams, and Cricket Australia has been doing it for 4 or 5 years, and I think it was a final in Melbourne that saw the record audience for the final. I think it was T20 World Cup final, if I'm not
86,000 at Melbourne.
Yes. So
that was T20 World Cup, which happened in
Yes.
2020. 86,174 people, which is the record number at Melbourne. It was T20 World Cup. But yeah, to answer your question, which is around women's IPL, again, that's another debate which the fans have always demanded, that they want to see more of women's IPL. But again, it is not about. I think it does not boils down to just having finances and just having money. As you rightly pointed that BCCI, it basically, yes, it does have the resources and the financial stability to sort of pull this off. But a lot of things come into picture as to who are the players, what is the bench strength, or who are the domestic members participating in it. In my personal opinion, we do have that bench strength. We can easily make 4 or 5 teams. So instead of 8 teams, we can start maybe with 4 to 5 teams, see how that goes, and eventually grow it to 6 teams and 8 teams. And I think by this year we did had this plan of having at least 4 to 5 teams in the women's T20 challenge, which is the mini version of IPL. But COVID restrictions did not allow us to conduct the tournament, and today we all are in the same boat which we were in the last year.
Yeah, it's been difficult. Like, but just a wild concept that my father always used to tell me, or rather always suggested that we should add at least one female cricketer to the IPL team. Like, as we are anyway giving them what do you say, giving them a privilege to have 4 foreign players. We should make a compulsion that the team must play one female cricketer. I don't know how he came up with it, but that was his notion that it might promote the female cricket.
I think that there's already enough being done to promote women's cricket, and it's just a matter of time. The more the girls play, the more people watch it on TV, on social media. The more they're following, the more women's cricket would prosper. So I think all the efforts should now be put in to conduct more matches and bring them on TV. I think this would do a lot of help to women's cricket.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, sir, it would be very useful that you all know that the hundred, which is a game, a new format of only 100 balls, and is going to be a mixed team like men's and women's, and we have 5 women from our Indian team getting the NOC from the BCCI to play. So, your views onto it?
As a concept, the 100-ball concept, I'm not sure how would it span because we have always watched Test cricket. We have always enjoyed Test cricket. T20 was still fine, but now reducing it further to 100-ball tournament is something that once it happens, once it picks up, we all watch it on TV and see how that goes. I won't be able to comment anything on the format as such, but I'm happy that the Indian girls are also made part of the tournament. So that is something which I'm excited, and I'm very much looking forward to watch likes of Shefali Verma, who is a game changer, who can hit long balls. I'm very much looking forward to watch Smriti Mandhana, Dipti Sharma. So these are the cricketers that I'm more excited to watch in the 100.
So, do you think that the IPL and 100 would go like a rival or competition for the IPL can be the 100 because of the mixed team concept or the drafting system which they have?
I don't think so. That these two would be competitors in any way. Both are different formats. It's a 120 ball game. That's a 100-ball match. IPL has in its 13th year now. 100 is just starting. IPL already has that head start, and we all know how popular it is worldwide. We don't know how this particular tournament, the 100, would be perceived by the fans. Only time can tell. If it's a super hit show, or if it's a show that needs a lot of overhaul. But I would never look at IPL and 100 and say that these are two competitors. For me, both are different formats. I enjoy IPL. Whether I'll enjoy 100 or not, only time will tell once I see it on TV.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Recently the women's T20 was included into the Commonwealth Games for 2022. So can it be that one step that women's cricket was lacking? Because if we get into Commonwealth Games, that might pave us the way into Olympics. And if we win a gold medal there, that might give us the big boom, or the women's team, the big boom that they all need. Like the 2007 World Cup that gave the men's cricket the big boom, and then the IPL happened. So that can be the way. That can be a way for us to move ahead.
See, not just Commonwealth Games, not just the gold medal. I think any tournament, any big tournament, any ICC tournament has that capacity to put women's cricket at the forefront and make it a huge, sensation. We all saw it happen with 2017 Women's World Cup. We all saw it happen with the 2020 T20 World Cup, the Women's T20 World Cup at MCG. The girls reached the finals. People actually enjoyed it. We all watched, and you know how cricket freak we Indians are. So when we see that someone reaches the final, we sort of enjoy it, we celebrate it. And in case of the girls perform well at the Commonwealth Games, it would bring them a lot of limelight. It would bring them a lot of support, not just from the Indian fan base, but from the global fan base, because Olympic is a global sport and it is followed by a lot of countries. So I think the whole idea of introducing women's cricket to the Olympics is to make it a global phenomenon, to make it a sport that can be played globally, and that is the whole idea why ICC and why other cricketing boards have sort of agreed to this particular agreement that let's have women's cricket in the Commonwealth in the Olympics.
Yeah. So, sir, my question, I hope it might not be a bit controversial one. So, recently, the big news, breaking news from women's cricket was that BCCI just announced the annual central contract for all the women's cricketer. And as you must be following, and as all of us must be following, there was a large outcry on various social media platform because of, and there was one trending topic about the massive pay gap between the men's cricketer and the female cricketer. So we see grade A cricketers of men's cricket earning 5 crores while the grade A cricketers of women's cricket earning 50 lakhs. So the gap is massive. And I've also noticed some people defending it by saying that women's cricketer ज़्यादा नहीं खेलते and they are not earning enough revenue as compared to men's cricket, so that is justified. So I just wanted to know your views on this entire debate about the pay gap thing. So could you just narrate to us about this?
See, it's very simple. Both are playing for your country, irrespective of the gender. They are representing India at an international level. Both are putting in equal efforts, irrespective of the gender. In fact, females they put in a lot of efforts. Like because the matches are hardly you hardly see any matches for the girls. So despite that, they are performing at an international level and competing at an international level with top quality cricketers. So I don't see any reason why they should be paid differently. My honest opinion would be that there should be an equal pay, and if not, at least it should be at par at what the men cricketers get. They are representing country at an international level, so how can you differentiate just because the genders are different? That does not prove any point.
Also, sir, do you think that just because of this massive pay gap that we are currently having between the men's cricketers and the women's cricketer, could that even impact the aspiring future female cricketers in the process of maybe representing India for once? So because this could have a massive impact, as we know that there wasn't much said in the past when these things used to happen, and but on the contrary, in 2017, I think if I recall, Cricket Australia had increased the wages of the women's cricket by 125%. So that means the minimum pay for both men's and the women's cricketers in that year were almost the same. So do you think that this could have a negative impact on the future aspiring women's cricketers just because of this massive pay gap that we are currently seeing?
Honestly, Sanchit, I don't think so, because who wants to represent India, who wants to play for the country, would not think of what salary they are getting, of what pay they are getting. I honestly have never met any cricketer at the academy also that we run who comes and tells us कि मुझको पैसा कितना मिलेगा if I play for the country. Yeah, what will I get if I get into the domestic circuit? So that this is something that is not discussed and something that does not bother, in my opinion, to the aspiring cricketers. who wants to play cricket, plays for the fun of it, plays for the joy of it, and wants to seriously contribute by winning something for India. And I think this is something that this thought should never, bother them. When Mithali ma'am and when Jhulan Goswami, they were playing back in 2000s and 90s, they did not have any central contracts. They were not paid anything at all. Regular, they would get some match fees for playing a particular match. Apart from that, there was nothing. Now the girls have DA. They are put in best of facilities. They get to train in the best of facilities. And in itself, representing country is a huge pride. You forget everything else, the money and everything. It definitely it's something that needs to be discussed, but I don't think that will bother the aspiring cricketers.
Definitely, sir. Coming back to you and your academy, how much the pandemic has affected you? Because I think for almost 1.5 years there has been we are put under lockdown, and we were this close to getting back to normal life in November, but again the second wave came, and most probably they are expecting a third wave in August. So how much the pandemic has affected us?
Who said that we are expecting a third wave in August?
I don't know. I was just watching news today. I think it was some Marathi channel that DRDO or some. I don't want to quote it, but it was there.
I just hope that it does not happen because the business and everything is impacted a lot. Talking about female cricket, the major revenue source for us is the academy that we run, which we have in Dadar Shivaji Park. So I think it was closed for around 8 to 9 months last year in 2020. This year we did have that window, we did have that gap for 4 months where we luckily had our practice sessions going on. So we started in January. 4th of January is when we started the practice, and exactly 4 months later, on 4th of April, is when we had our last practice session, and we had to sort of discontinue in the academy. So it is all shut. It has impacted business a lot. But again, we're looking at the brighter side, which is, the girls are safe. We are doing safe. We are talking to each other. Again, these are some bright sides, right? Because we know that so many families have been impacted. A lot of cricketers, I'm sure you must have read it on the news, that their families are impacted. So despite having a lot of resources in their hands, a lot of financial stability, still they were not able to save their loved ones. So the message is very out and clear that this can happen to anyone and everyone, irrespective who you are, irrespective where you come from. We should be lucky, and we should be happy that we are in a good shape and we're talking to each other. We have families to look after. Apart from that, I think everything else is good so far.
That's really a little bit of
a positive way of looking at things.
Yeah, definitely. And what are your future plans if suppose the pandemic had not happened, or even moving ahead? What are your plans? How are you going to expand the female cricket, or how do you see female cricket in 10 years?
So again, there are a lot of plans, Kaustubh, to be very honest. In the last 5 to 6 years that we started female cricket, we have identified a lot of challenges. We have identified a lot of gaps. The gaps are as small as proper cricketing gears for the girls. Now we know that a lot of these brands manufacture cricketing gears for boys, but none of them caters to female as an audience, female cricketers, the young cricketers. So we want to get into a segment where we produce and where we manufacture cricketing gears which are made especially for female cricketers. The t-shirts that you see, these are unisex, meaning these are again made for boys, but then the girls, they have to alter it and adjust it accordingly to the fabric. A lot of these cities in the tier 2, tier 3 Mofussil areas, they do not have proper infrastructure for the girls to go and play cricket. So like I said, a lot of challenges that we have identified, we want to provide solution and we want to tackle these challenges one by one. One of the major goals that we have for female cricket for the next 5 years is that we want to set up a female cricket academy in each and every state of India in the next 5 years. And one of the other goals is to involve at least 1 million girls with cricket in India in the next 5 years. How will that happen? Is something that we want to go back to the drawing room once the pandemic gets over and we have enough time to sort of discuss on the plan. But this is something that we want to execute. Apart from that, the coverage that we're giving to women's cricket, we do understand that there's a lot of scope for improvement, and we want to do that. As I'd already mentioned at the start of this particular interview, that we want to do a lot of video content for our YouTube channel, because we know that that's the future. That is something which people would consume going forward. So that is another area which we want to expand and explore going forward. I hope that answers your question. Again, I can go on and on with this particular topic, because we do have a lot of plans for female cricket, but a lot depends on how situation spans out now. We are living in an unprecedented times now.
Now, we all hope that all those plans come true, and we do see a lot of women cricketers coming from female cricket academy or from anywhere. The female cricket should get the attention, and the sport as one should grow in India. The hard work they're putting in, the blood and sweat they're going, it should it should be appreciated and it should be looked into. Moving ahead, I think.
Yeah, so sir, this was actually a very spontaneous question that I had prepared. So in our college days, we are asked to organize events, especially from the management background. So we are asked to organize any kind of events that we have. So let's consider sports events. So we know that it is very popular in cities like Mumbai and Navi Mumbai, and very rarely you see female participants coming in for any sports game in Mumbai. So that is very unfortunate thing to see. So do you think that maybe adding a separate game of cricket, let's say, for women's cricketers, so that it could empower the development of women's cricket from a grassroots level? Do you think that establishing it from the level of college events could help women's cricket to develop, especially in the cities that we are considering?
Well, that's a good idea, Sanjay. But again, not just at the college level. In fact, at the school level also, it should start right from at the school level. That's where these girls can be taught the basics of cricket and eventually brought into a culture where they start taking up professional coaching, either at a club or at a academy level. So it's a good idea, and it's something that we also want to implement. That's one of our plans going forward, that we want to ensure that major cities and major schools and colleges in our country, they have this tournaments and talent hunt campaigns, where we spot these talents very early on and put them in a bucket where they can be further trained and given very exclusive and very specific trainings. For example, when someone is very good with batting, you want to put them in a batting academy. When you know that someone can be groomed as a very good bowler, we want to put them and give very bowling specific coaching and training. So this is one of the plans that we have going forward.
Thank you so much.
I think those were all the questions that we had. And moving on to the next segment, we have a rapid fire and a this or that segment. So I'll be starting with the rapid fire round. You don't have to take much time. You just have to answer very quickly. So shall I begin?
Sure.
Okay. So your all-time favorite women's cricket match and why?
2020 World Cup final, Melbourne, MCG. 86,174 people cheering for India. Again, I would have loved it had India won it. But
Definitely, sir.
Nevertheless.
Your favorite episode of female cricket podcast?
It was again difficult to choose, but I enjoyed having a chat with Mithali ma'am. It was close to 80-90 minutes long chat, and she talked in depth about her cricketing journey, how it all started, and the challenges that she had to face. We also discussed about her family. We then discussed about her favorite book. So there were a lot of topics and a lot of varieties that we sort of covered in that podcast. It was a great chat.
One important change that you would want to see in women's cricket in domestic or even international as soon as possible?
Uh, a lot of changes, but right away that comes to my mind is two things. One is that multi-day format, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day matches for the girls at domestic level. And the second would be having a lot of tournaments at the grassroots level, at school and college level.
Okay. Would you see as the next big thing for India in women's cricket?
Without a doubt, Shefali Verma.
Definitely. We were all discussing just before that 400. We were all excited to see her. One player you would absolutely pay to watch her play.
I would pay to watch her play.
Yeah.
I
Only one
would,
player. If
I
only
would
one
pay
player.
to watch every player.
Yeah. See,
provide.
when they were framing this question, I said the exact same thing. I mean, the man has opened a female cricket academy. He would obviously pay.
You keep the matches, you arrange the matches. I would go and watch in the stadium. I would pay for it. Not
I would tweak a question a little bit. If there was only one player that you could watch to play, who would it be? Apart from Shefali Verma.
I would love to watch Meg Lanning, Australia.
Yeah, she is real.
She's in a different league. She is in a
Definitely.
different league.
So I'll take it forward from here. So this is a very interesting one. So taking T20 format into consideration, if you had to form an opening pair for T20s, which two players would you have in your team? Note, it must be one from men's cricket and one from women's cricket.
Should it be from the current lot or it could be
It
from?
could be from any era.
For
It
any
could be
era.
from-
How about watching Sachin Tendulkar and Shefali Verma open the innings together?
Perfect. The past and the future.
That would be very reminiscent of Sehwag and Tendulkar pair.
Yeah.
Now that is one thing that I would love to pay to watch. So going forward, a superpower that you would like to have.
Ah, superpower. The power to conduct a lot of matches for the girls, the power to pay them well, the power to one of the missions that we have to empower and encourage 1 million girls in India in the next 5 years. So I wish I had that power to bring all 1 million people, all 1 million girls together and put them in a setup and watch them grow and watch them prosper in cricket.
I think that is exactly what each and every Indian cricket fan must be looking forward. So I hope that that actually happens in the future. So going forward, your dream travel destination.
Dream travel destination. I have stopped thinking about my travel destination, honestly. But I would love to visit New Zealand because what I've read and what I've heard from players, cricketers, is that New Zealand is a beautiful country, not just from cricketing point of view, but overall
Vacation point of view.
Yeah, from the vacation. In fact, Mithali ma'am also told me once that New Zealand is her favorite destination, holiday destination. I would want to visit there once. I don't know when. Probably next year because the Women's World Cup is happening in New Zealand next year. I don't know if we would be allowed to travel given all the restrictions that is currently imposed, but let's hope.
I think in New Zealand we'll be okay because they were COVID free even before I think a lot of us. So I think
but we Indians are in
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we are not allowed anywhere.
International borders issues.
We are even banned from Maldives now, thanks to our celebrities.
We are banned from entering local trains. Forget about New Zealand.
Yeah. So let's go forward with the question. So if you had to choose one moment that actually changed your perspective towards life, which moment would it be?
Towards life?
Yeah.
That's
Very
a very
philosophical. Yeah, philosophical.
towards very heavy question, Sanchit. I have not had that experience so far. I would want to have it. As of now, not have that.
Yeah, another philosophical question prepared by our mate. So, any regret looking back at your journey?
Wish I had started female cricket a bit early. Started in 2016. Wish I had it in 2013 or 14, soon after I was done with my college and everything.
So yeah, as they say, better late than never. So it's
Definitely.
it's actually good that you started, because
Yeah,
it is certainly going to help the women's cricket grow and grow more in the upcoming years. So
I
yeah.
wish.
So Omkar would be you could carry on with the third segment of the show.
Yeah. So the last and the final segment is the this or that. So the first question is women's IPL or women's Test cricket?
Women's IPL or women's Test
Test
cricket?
cricket, yeah.
Women's IPL, man. Women's IPL any day.
Sir, Mithali Raj or Harmanpreet Kaur?
For ODIs, Mithali Raj. For T20s, Harmanpreet Kaur.
Sir, overall,
Overall, as in what context?
If
batting.
you have to choose only one.
Yeah, only one. Overall, all the
I
formats.
I will choose one, but again, I'll give a justification. Mithali Raj, because she started playing cricket back in '99, and
Yeah.
in the '90s she played most of her cricket. Most of the women's cricket that we know today is because of Mithali ma'am. In fact, Harmanpreet also in one of her interviews she told that what Mithali Raj has done for the country, she's not sure whether she'll be able to do it. So yeah, I think even Harmanpreet would agree that Mithali ma'am should be the one who should be picked here.
Definitely.
Sir, next question is Sarah Taylor or Meg Lanning?
Sarah Taylor or Meg Lanning? Meg Lanning. Meg Lanning.
A trip to Rajasthan or a trip to Bhutan?
I've been to Rajasthan. I've been to Bhutan, but I loved Bhutan. Bhutan was something different.
Omkar was stalking you on Instagram.
Yeah.
I can
As
see
I mentioned, I have done a lot of research.
I can see that.
Sir, Ashok Vadapav from the Kirti College or a Jumbo King?
I've never been to Kirti College, so I would want to try that. I have had Jumbo King, so let us keep that aside. Why not go for Kirti's Vada Pav?
Yeah. Definitely.
So the next is the entrepreneurship or a job?
Entrepreneurship, man, any day. That's exactly what I am doing, and that is something I would not just because I am doing, I would insist everyone, but because it teaches you a lot of things. It makes you responsible, and you start looking at things differently. You start looking at life differently. You start looking at your work differently. So, entrepreneurship.
A well-planned vacation or backpacking?
Well planned works for me. Backpacking, not done much. Well planned suits.
Flying to a destination or a road trip?
Road trip.
Perfect. So India, Australia or India, Pakistan? Any one?
India, Pakistan, any day. Who would not want to India Pakistan match?
Definitely.
Okay, the final question is a low-scoring thriller or a high-scoring match?
Low scoring, low scoring thriller.
Most
Gets
of the
over easily. Gets over easily. You are entertained. What else do you need?
Uh, I think that would be all from this that segment. And there is one question that Ronak has asked from the backstage. How do you take care of the sustainable sponsorship for female cricketers, especially at the grassroots levels?
Uh, it's a tough question because we have not seen much sponsorship happening at the grassroots level, especially for females. Uh, but I think one thing that can be worked out is conducting events, conducting tournaments, because at the end what sponsors need is the visibility. What they need is that their brands or their companies should be promoted and brought into limelight, and that can be done not just by playing one-off match, but when you play a tournament, when you conduct an event, when you put a talent hunt campaign or talent hunt initiative forward. I think these becomes a good point so as to promote a particular brand or a corporate. So I think these are the two quick suggestions that I have.
One more thing. I mean, you have obviously built a platform for solely the viewership or even the awareness for the female cricket, but how much how much different or how much more can we do to aware general public for women's cricket? Like, even if we ask today who scored the first double century in ODI, people will blindly say Sachin Tendulkar. But people don't even know who Belinda Clark is, and she was the first player to score first ODI 200. So, what else we can do to just just give them more? I mean, more awareness. How can we create more awareness?
One is that by talking about it, by celebrating about it, by sharing about it. We all, watched Sachin Tendulkar play on TV, and then we would go and meet our friends and tell, Sachin Tendulkar played this shot. We all would ask our parents to get us an MRF bat because Sachin Tendulkar used to play with it. And then we all saw, MS Dhoni, and we wanted to hit helicopter shots. So again, these are minute things which would definitely make a lot of impact in women's cricket as well. Just talk about it. You watch Shefali Verma play, you watch Priti Mandhana play, go and talk about it with your friends within your circle. Tell your families that women cricket also exists, and these are the matches which is happening. Uh, Talk about it on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, wherever and whenever possible. I think this should be a starting point because that is exactly what we did with men's cricket, and it is the fans that has made cricket so popular. It is we fans who started watching and started building castles in the air, and that is how the men's cricket got promoted so much. So I think that is exactly what needs to be done in women's cricket. No rocket science.
Uh, in your opinion, or according to you, maybe can we see a cricket based off totally franchise based league? Because recently even Star and Sony are going at each other. Like, Sony put out a tweet there, from next year onwards only one network won't have all the rights, so definitely they have announced a war against them. So it will only take one madman like Kerry Packer to announce its own private league, and England is always obviously coming up with its own league. Australia has its own league. I think Canada, out of nowhere, they have global T20 league. So do you see that as a future, like a franchise-based cricket, like football?
I definitely see that happening. I think more and more innovations need to be brought to further the sport, to further women's cricket. And this is one of the concepts, this is one of the area which will further boost the overall perspective of women's cricket, and overall the growth of women's cricket. And apart from this, there are so many other things that can be done, like I'd mentioned, just talking about it, just promoting it on our social media handles. And again, you can criticize, you can talk, what went wrong and what could have been done this way. But just give constructive feedbacks, as a cricket fan would do, not just as a hater, not just as a criticizer, but as a diehard cricket fan, which we see today on Twitter happening a lot.
Most definitely, sir. I think that's all from our side. There, I
Actually,
think.
sir has actually answered each and every doubt of us, and I actually, to be honest, I hope this doesn't go on record, but I really actually learned a lot from this particular segment because people need to be educated more about women's cricket, especially in the current times, because fans, as we know, that they can't travel physically to the stadium to give their support to women's cricket. So the best possible way to do that is on social media, and I think it is currently going in the right direction with the female cricket also doing a splendid job with their podcast and the content that they are creating. And I really hope that more and more people actually start up with their own content, make even a small, even from a small contribution, like maybe making a fan pages. We all make fan pages of our favorite players. So we see Virat Kohli fan pages all across the social media platform. So maybe if we could see more and more fan pages of someone like Shifali Verma, Harmanpreet Kaur, I think that could be also a start from a very minute level. So really I learned a lot from you, sir, and really thank you for making your time, especially at this hour, for us. And really, once again, thank you so much for coming.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thanks
We
to
are
you.
really grateful to have you, sir.
So actually, we
My
got to know a
pleasure.
lot of what we can say in-depth knowledge of female cricket from your side, especially. Like we
Thank-
used to just follow the schedule, but how the grassroots level is there, the academies, how you run the female cricket, the promotion, the marketing, That's what we really learned from you. So thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Like I told you, it is people like us who is going to sort of lead the way forward and make women's cricket more popular. So again, it is my pleasure that you guys called me and you wanted to talk about women's cricket. And I think I did not take any minute before confirming it to Kaustubh that, okay, I want to be part of this conversation. And the more and more it happens, the more it will help women's cricket in general. That's the whole objective. So thanks to you guys for doing this and for having me, for inviting me on this chat.
No, sir. It's totally been our pleasure, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for being a part of the show, imparting your knowledge. It's been a really delightful experience, and we really hope, we really hope that all your dreams and the future aspects, the future aspirations that you're taking for female cricket, the 1 million girl dreams, that definitely comes true.
Thank you. That's the biggest dream. That's the one dream which we want to fulfill.
We'll also be waiting for the new season of the videocast.
Oh yes, we are planning. We are planning very soon. Now that cricket is coming back, we would also start. We would also have ample of content to sort of put in front of the fans. So you will see a lot of things happening in female cricket. All right, great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Make sure to follow us on all the platforms on social media. We are the Third Man Cricket Show. We are active on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and even YouTube. So make sure to hit the bell icon on YouTube as well, where we bring you daily analysis on match days, weekly podcasts, and experts corner shows like today's. So we will be really glad if you give us your support. And also, guys, keep yourself safe and your family safe, and follow all the safety protocols and get yourself vaccinated if possible. And till then, I really hope all of you have a great day. Thank you for joining.